Daf Yomi, Avodah Zarah, Tractate Avodah Zarah, page 66, Daf Samach Vav, and 66 is an important number because that's in this Daf Yomi, because that's when, for me at least, because that's when I started the Daf Yomi in Kedushin 66, and that was about 11 days after October 7th. So, October 7th, and then October 18th was Kedushin 66, and that's when I started. And so now we're on Avodah Zarah 66. I don't think I made a mention of this when we were in other tractates, as like Bava Kama 66, Bava Metzia 66, Sanhedrin, Shavuos, and no, Shavuos doesn't have that, right? Makos doesn't have that, but the three Bavas do. I didn't mention it, but anyway, Avodah Zarah does, and so I'm mentioning now. 66 is when I started, Kedushin 66, on October 18th, which was, I think it was the third day of Cheshvan of 5784. Yeah. Anyway, bottom of 65b with the words Amar Lachabaya, Lav mi Yitmar La, Amar Rabba Bar Barchana, Amar Reish Lakish, Bipas Chama Bechavis Pesucha. The Gemara answers, Abaye could say to you that Rabbi Yehuda also holds that a smell is a substantial matter. Wasn't it stated with regard to that Mishnah that Rabbi Bar Barchana says, that Reish Lakish says, in the case of a hot loaf of bread and an open barrel? Just want to make a mention that a very famous rabbi passed away recently. His name is Rabbi Beryl Wine, and I found it extremely fascinating, and I don't think this is irreverent at all, that the day that he passed away was on Shabbat, Parshas Akev, and that Gemara of the Daf Yomi was talking about a barrel of wine, and ever since then, it's mentioning a barrel of wine and his name was Rabbi Beryl Wine. Of course, not spelled the same way, and of course, different wine might mean the same thing, but barrel comes from the Yiddish version of the word bear, like dove, bear, like an actual the animal bear. But it's in certain names have qualities of animals in Yiddish, like aryeh is a lion, bear, different qualities, strength, or what have you. But anyway, so it's interesting that this Daf Yomi, immediately following his passing, is talking about a barrel of wine. So anyway, we're on the top of 66 B right now. I'm sorry, 66A. With the words Chamra Atika Beinve Divrei Korban Sintam Chamra Chadida Beinve. With regard to old wine used for a libation that fell onto grapes, all agree that the grapes are forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts flavor to them. With regard to new wine used for a libation, meaning a wine that had just been squeezed, and wine that had just been squeezed, that's grape juice then. Why do you call it wine? Wine that just, okay, whatever. And has not yet fermented. Oh, so it's called grape juice. They mean grape juice. It's not yet fermented that fell onto grapes. Abaye says that any amount renders the grapes forbidden, and Rava says that they are forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts flavor to them. How can you know? I guess you have someone else taste it. A non-Jewish person taste it. Okay. Abaye Amar b'mashu basar tamaz linan Idivi dechatamehu, dehabale min bemino, uvemin bemino b'mashu. The Gemara explains their respective opinions. Abaye says that any amount renders them forbidden because he maintains that when categorizing substances in the context of the halachot of mixtures, we follow the flavor, and this wine and those grapes are of the same flavor, which renders it a case of a substance in contact with the same type of substance. And the principle is that in a case of a substance in contact with the same type of substance, any amount of the forbidden substance renders the mixture forbidden. The Rava Amar benasin tam basar shama aslinan v'hai shema lechud v'hai shema lechud v'havilei min b'she'eno mino u'min b'she'eno mino benotin tam. And Rava says that the grapes are forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts flavor to them, because he maintains that when categorizing substances in the context of the halachot of mixtures, we follow the name, and this wine has a discrete name, and those grapes have their own discrete name. And accordingly, this is a case of a substance in contact with a different type of substance. And the principle is that in a case of a substance in contact with a different type of substance, the mixture is forbidden only in a case where the forbidden item imparts flavor to it. Tenan, yein sakshina falgave anovim kulo kasal kedaitin chamra chadetavin ve maila v'noisintam lo b'mashu. We learned in the Mishnah that in the case of wine used for a libation that fell on cracked grapes, the grapes are forbidden. It enters our mind that this is referring to new wine falling on grapes. What, is it not the intention of the Mishnah that they are forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts flavor to the grapes? If so, then it is the name that counts as the flavor of the wine. In this case, is the same as the grapes. The Gemara rejects this premise. No, the Mishnah means that any amount of the wine renders the grapes forbidden. Ha midi katani seifa zekla kol shivehana sobenosintam asu kol shivehana sobenosintam mutar michlal divinosintam askina. The Gemara challenges this explanation, but from the fact that the Mishnah teaches in the last clause, this is the principle: anything that benefits from a forbidden item imparting flavor to it is forbidden, and anything that does not benefit from a forbidden item imparting flavor to it is permitted. By inference, we are dealing with a case where the forbidden item imparts flavor to the permitted item. And how does Abaya explain this? In his opinion, the ruling of the Mishnah is stated with regard to old wine that fell onto grapes, which are not of the same flavor. So it is reasonable that the grapes are rendered forbidden by an amount that imparts flavor. Chala dechamir chala deshichra bechamira dechite bechamira desare. Abaye Amar benosin tam basar time azlina behai time alechud behai time alechud behavile min shem b'she'en mino umin b'she'en mino benosin tam. This dispute between Abaye and Rava applies to another case as well. With regard to the case of wine vinegar and malt vinegar that became mixed together, and one is permitted and the other is forbidden, and also the case of leaven of wheat flour and leaven of barley flour, that became mixed together, and one is permitted and the other is forbidden. Abaye says the forbidden substance renders the mixture forbidden in a case where it imparts flavor to the mixture, because we follow the flavor, and this flavor is discrete, and that flavor is discrete, and therefore it becomes a mixture of a type of food mixed with food not of its own type. And a type of food mixed with food not of its own type is forbidden in a case where the forbidden food imparts flavor to the mixture. V'Rava amar b'mashu basa shema azlinan v'hai chala mikari v'hai chala mikari v'hai chamir mikari v'hai chamir mikari v'havale min b'mino v'chol min b'mino b'mashu. And Rava says any amount of the forbidden substance renders the mixture forbidden in accordance with his opinion that we follow the name. And this is called vinegar, and that is called vinegar, and this is called leaven, and that is called leaven. And therefore it becomes a mixture of a type of food mixed with food of its own type. And in any case of a type of food mixed with food of its own type, any amount of the forbidden substance renders the mixture forbidden. Amar Abaye mina minale libasotam azlinan titanya tav nishnaim b'shlosh shemas v'hein min echad o min shlosha ha'asurin u'mitztarafin v'amar Chizkiya hacha b'mine metika askinan hoidu roim lepatek bahem et ha'kedera Iyamad b'shlom b'tartam azlinan kulam ha'achad dama Ela, Iyamad b'shema azlinan Hai shema lechud v'hai shema lechud. Abaye says, from where do I say that we follow flavor? As it is taught in a Brayta, forbidden spices that are known by 2 or 3 different names, but are of the same species. Forbidden spices that are the same species, or of 3 different species, are forbidden and combined together to render a dish forbidden. Okay, and Chizkiya says the reason the 3 species combine to render the dish forbidden is that here we are dealing with types of sweet spices. Since they are all fit to sweeten the dish, they combine and they impart the same kind of flavor. Abaye explains, granted, if you say we follow flavor, they're all considered the same flavor, and therefore they combine. But if you say we follow the name, why should they combine to render the dish forbidden? This name is discrete, and that name is discrete. V'Rave amar lach amani Rabbi Meir hidetanya Rabbi Yehuda omer Yishum Rabbi Meir minayin lechol isurin shebetoira shemitztarfen ze im ze shneimar lo tochel kol to'eva kol sheti ba'arti lach harei hu v'bal tochel. And Rabbi could say to you, in accordance with whose opinion is this Brayta, it is the opinion of Rabbi Meir, who maintains that all foods combine, whether or not they have the same name or the same flavor, as is taught in a Brayta. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Meir, from where is it derived that any foods forbidden by the Torah that fall into a mixture combine with one another to render a mixture forbidden? As it is stated, you shall not eat anything abominable, Deuteronomy 14:3, which indicates that anything that I have made abominable, meaning forbidden to you, is prohibited for consumption, and therefore all of these prohibitions are actually a single general prohibition. Chala legoy chamra, divrei hakol benoten ta'am, chamra legoy chala, Abaye amar b'mashu Rava amar b'noten tam. With regard to forbidden vinegar that fell into a barrel of wine, all agree that the mixture is forbidden in a case where the forbidden vinegar imparts flavor to the mixture. In a case of forbidden wine, is spilled into vinegar, since the sharper smell of the vinegar overwhelms the smell of the wine before it mixes in. Abai says that any amount of the wine renders the mixture forbidden, and Rava says that it is forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts flavor to the vinegar. Abai Amar b'mashu, the Gemara explains their respective opinions. Abai says that any amount renders the mixture forbidden. Now we continue on to 66b, top of the page. Reiche chala b'tama chamra. Chala b'havele min b'mino. Chol min b'mino b'mashu. Because a liquid whose smell is vinegar and its flavor is wine is considered vinegar. And the wine, when it spilled into the barrel of vinegar, took on the smell of vinegar from the moment it reached the airspace of the barrel, and it has therefore become a type of food mixed with food of its own type. And any type of forbidden food mixed with food of its own type renders the mixture forbidden by any amount. Rava says that the mixture is forbidden only in a case where the wine imparts the flavor to the vinegar, because a liquid whose smell is vinegar and its flavor is wine. If it's smell and the flavor, to me it's the same thing. How could it smell like vinegar and taste like wine? It's considered wine. If it smells like vinegar but tastes like wine, if it smells like vinegar, chances are it's going to taste like vinegar too. I think this is just, to me, this is just, I don't know, I don't understand it. And it has therefore become a type of food mixed with food not of its own type. And any type of forbidden food mixed with food not of its own type renders the forbidden mixture only in a case where it imparts flavor to the mixture. Okay? Hi bas tiha goy de Israel. Shapir dami. Shapir dami misal the goy amar Abai amar asur, Rava amar mutar, Abai amar asur recha milsehi, Rava amar mutar recha lav milsehi. With regard to this hole in the barrel, through which one can smell the wine, they call the bunghole. It's funny. I mean, it's actually that word has been used for it's not really like a not nice thing, but apparently it's something. It's a real thing. I never knew this. A bat tiha is a bunghole. It's basically a hole. It's a hole in a barrel through which one can smell the wine. Okay, if a non-Yehudi smells a Yehudi's wine through it, the wine is permitted. But for a Yehudi to smell a non-Yehudi's wine through it, Abai says that it's prohibited, whereas Rava says it's permitted. Abai says that it's prohibited because he holds that a smell is a substantial matter, a significant form of pleasure, and is not permitted to derive benefit from a non-Yehudi's wine. Rava says that it's permitted because he holds that it smells nothing, it's insignificant. Okay, I wonder if Abai holds that you can't smell something on Yom Kippur. Okay. Amarava benamina leidrecha v'lo klum. Ditznan, Tanu shehisiko chamon shel truma. Ve'efa ba et ha'pas. Pas materes, לפי שאין טעם כמון, אלא ריח כמון. Ve'abai shani hasam nimikal asur. Rava says, from where do I say that smells nothing? As we learn in the Mishnah, Shemot 10:4, with regard to an oven that one lit with cumin stalks of truma, and baked bread in it, and the bread is permitted because it has not absorbed the flavor of the cumin stalks, but only the smell of the cumin stalks. This indicates that smell alone does not render a food forbidden. And how's Abaye explain this? He answers that it is different there, as the forbidden substance was burned. The smell of the forbidden cumin stalks entered the bread after the cumin stalks themselves were consumed by the fire, and the smell that is not from an extant substance is not forbidden. By contrast, in a case where the smell is from an extant source, it is forbidden. Amar Rav Mari Ketanai Haroi de Pas Chama Unas not Bicha Viz Shel Yain Shel Truma. Rabbi Meir Oser, Rabbi Yehuda Matir, Rabbi Yossi Matir B'Shel Chitin Ve'Oser B'Shel Soirim מפני שהסעורים שאוי אבויס מיילה בייקו בפליגי דמר סבריך מלסי מר סבריך לא כלומי who? Rav Mari said the dispute between Abaye and Rava is parallel to a dispute between Tanaim, as is taught in the Mishnah in Trumot 10.3 with regard to one who detached a hot loaf of bread from the oven and placed it on the opening of a barrel of wine of Truma, the portion of the produce designated for the priest. Rabbi Meir deems the bread forbidden to non-priests, as, in his opinion, the smell of the wine renders the bread forbidden to them, and Rabbi Yehuda deems it permitted. Rabbi Yossi deems it permitted in a case of wheat bread, but deems it forbidden in the case of barley bread because the barley draws out the fumes of the wine. Rav Mari explained what is it not with regard to this matter that the sages in the Mishnah disagree. That one sage, Rabbi Meir, holds that a smell is a substantial matter, and one sage, Rabbi Yehuda, holds that a smell is nothing. The Rava Avadai Tanaihi, the Abaye Mi Lemat Tanaihi. The Gemara remarks, according to the opinion of Rava, the dispute between him and Abaye is certainly parallel to a dispute between Tanaim, as he must concede that Rabbi Meir holds that a smell is a substantial matter. But according to the opinion of Abaye, shall we say that it is parallel to a dispute between Tanaim? Amar lach Abaye, lav mi itmar alam, Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Reish Lakish, v'pas kama v'chabes bezucha. The Gemara answers, Abaye could say to you that Rabbi Yehuda holds that a smell is a substantial matter. Wasn't it stated with regard to that Mishnah that Rabba bar Chana says, that Reish Lakish says, in the case of a hot loaf with bread and an open barrel,